Hi guys, so I'm finally back. I know I announced that I'm coming back a while ago, but yeah, I'm finally here and I just wanted to talk about things that pique my interest in the moment. And right now, what's caught my attention, I know there's a lot of stuff that's been happening right around us. Um, People claiming that we're doing things in the country that are not happening and all of that stuff, but that's not what I want to talk about. So, what's piqued my interest in the moment right now is the whole Sentebale charity situation in Lesotho. So Sentebale is a charity started by Princess Diana, and it mainly centers around youth development, right? Around health, around addressing inequality in Lesotho, and around climate change and all of that stuff. So it's a charity that's been very close to Prince Harry's heart. As we all know, he was very close to his mother, and he's been working very closely with Prince Seiso of Lesotho, right? So this is something that's very close to his heart. So now there is a lady by the name of Sophie Chandauka, who was the CEO of this charity, right? Running the day to day activities of the charity and so on. And then recently, the board wanted to fire her effectively because they felt they had a number of issues about how she's running the charity. Some of them related to money, like she attempted apparently to pay herself 300,000 pounds when this role is supposed to be an unpaid role, right? So that's not judgment. Those are just the facts. You don't know what's going on in the background. I don't know enough about the situation to elaborate further in terms of the remuneration. I'm a little unclear in terms of how does one become a CEO of an organization, albeit an NGO, and doesn't get paid. So I'm not quite sure what the dynamics in that situation are, but that's it is what it is. So apparently, she took the board of the charity to court for wanting to fire her, and as a result, Prince Harry and Prince Seiso of Lesotho decided to remove themselves from the charity, which would then make things very difficult for the charity to now raise money going forward, or that's the implication, as it were, because a lot of the funding that was coming into the charity was being attracted by Prince Harry and Prince Asa, from what I understand. You would remember there was a debacle where there was a polo match, charity polo match, where this Sentebale organization was trying to raise money, right? They were trying to raise funding, and Meghan Markle was, when they were taking a photo with Prince Harry, she indicated to Sophie to stand in a specific position, and Sophie was refusing, and it was a whole thing until eventually she gave in and stood where Meghan Markle asked her to stand. So there's a whole situation there, right? So there are a lot of sides to the story. One side is that, sorry about that, one side is that Sophie is being incentivized, let's say, to go against or to put Harry and Meghan in a bad light on the back of Meghan's show with Love Meghan um, doing so well, right? It's been well received. I personally love the show. When I feel like cooking, I watch the show just for motivation, even if I don't make those recipes. But the whole vibe of it makes me want to go into the kitchen and make something nice, right? So, on the back of that, apparently, or some feel that she's being incentivized to put Harry and Meghan in a bad light, right? And then there's another side which says, well, Sophie's a black woman. She's alleged in her court papers that she was being bullied and she was being just not victimized and not being treated right, which a lot of us can, if you've been a black woman in corporate or in an organization, in a sort of senior type of position, you can identify with a lot of these things. Some of us have experienced them firsthand, and we know they happen all over the place, right? So it's not surprising that something like that would happen. I think a lot of people, what a lot of people are struggling with, is that she named Harry as the person that was bullying her, as the person that was victimizing her, and all of that stuff. So that's, I mean, Harry is loved and all of that stuff. So it's a, yeah, it was uncomfortable for a lot of people to think that Harry would do such a thing. I always say, when a situation like this happens, it's so difficult, especially for a lot of black women, for somebody to believe them when something like this happens, right? Because there's, for every black woman that gets victimized and harassed and abused in a working environment, there's five black women that will come, or five black people or people of color that will come and say, well, this sort of thing never happens. She's imagining things and all of that stuff. So you're careful not to label people and use some of these dog whistle um, labels that people use to try and suppress the voices of those that are going through stuff, or that are being put through stuff by people around them, right? Especially in a working environment. So those are the two sides. So now here's the thing. Sophie then has done interviews, or is currently doing interviews around the issue with, I mean, big publications and big media entities, right? Whereas Harry and Meghan and Princeso, their information is coming through channels that are not considered to be mainstream. So it also kind of makes you think, like, you can't help but question, why she's been given such a big platform that a lot of us struggle to get. A lot of us that look like her and want to work in a space like this, or want to work in senior positions, struggle to get those kinds of platforms. She's got a platform to do interviews to big publications and big doing TV interviews, with big TV channels. Whereas sorry again, whereas Harry and Princeso are struggling. Well, not really struggling, but their information is not coming through the mainstream channels. And many argue that if she had raised this kind of, if Sophie had raised these kinds of accusations against Prince William, she wouldn't be getting, being given platforms. She would be attacked and all of that stuff. And that's what's happening now. Meghan has mainly played a role in Sentebale via her husband Harry, right? So she's not a main actor in the story, but her name keeps coming up a lot, right? Which also makes one a little bit suspicious about, the whole situation. So Sophie did the interview, and in the interview, she basically went at Meghan, right? That Meghan, at the charity event, one charity event, she said she was not coming, and then she did come. And she brought Serena Williams with her, which is something they were not prepared for. In the way that she framed it, it wasn't clear whether she was complaining about it or whether she was happy about it, because those kinds of big names and big faces bring a lot of funding. Like, they attract attention, and attention then makes it easier to raise money for the charity. So it wasn't clear whether she was complaining about the situation, or she was happy about it. But it sounded like she was taking jabs at Meghan, that she perhaps has main character syndrome, that she said she hadn't indicated that she wasn't going to come, and then she just decided to come and bring, a big name like Serena Williams to the charity. I'm not sure what that has to do with the allegations that she has made, and that's another big one, right? So in the interview, she says Harry has been lovely to her. Harry has been great to work with, which kind of contradicts the allegations that she made against him, that he was the one that was victimizing her. He was the one that was bullying her. If you ask me who was bullying me, who was victimizing me, for example, I've got those names top of mind. I know who did what. Like, I've got it written somewhere, this, that, and the other, right? For example. So, and any person in that situation, I think, would be in that position to be able to name specifically who's doing what, when, on which day, what do you think was the intention, what was the impact on you as a person, and all of that stuff.